Hi guys, my name is Sidra and I am going to be renovating my bathroom on a budget. Now this is a really old 80s sort of build and the bathroom needed a little bit of refreshing, so I thought why not I go along and do it myself. But because I don't have a really huge budget, I cannot be doing something really big like tiling and changing the vanity and stuff like that. So I'm going to make little changes and we'll see how those little changes are going to refresh the look of this space. So come along with me over the next few days. We're going to work on it and work really hard. The thing I'm going to do is take my paint roller and just some simple white paint and paint these walls white because this bathroom does not get a lot of natural light. So the white will help reflect all of these dark colors more and it would make it look more vibrant. So I'm going to start on painting. Take this off.
So I started with painting the corners. This is called cutting corners. In hindsight, I should have taped the wall and the door, but I didn't. But I went really carefully with an angled brush and spread my paint around the really hard to get corners. These are the places where the brush or the roller won't reach, so I just went through really carefully. Going on through to the other side, I went with a small roller around the edges of the light switches and painted this wall as well. Day 2, as you can tell by dress change, I removed the hardware so that the cabinets are easier to paint. I then learned from my past mistake and taped the cabinet because I didn't want any paint coming over the sides where I didn't want it to be. And I really carefully went around taping all the sides. Once I was done taping, I sanded off the loose edges so that it's easier to paint. I then started with my paint color. I used a small roller brush and went over the edges first and then the rest of the cabinets. My cabinets were laminate and I used a mineral fusion paint. This is made for furniture and lasts really well and gives it a very good finish. In hindsight, I know that I should have used a primer, but I didn't and I just went with a couple of extra coats. Don't forget to appreciate your kids' artwork when they come to you with some, and then continue painting. Well, mom duties never ends, so that's what I'm up to, painting and appreciating the kids. I'm loving how the color's turning out. I go over the edges as well, and don't worry, the corners that I missed, I'll go over them with a small paintbrush. Once I'm done with my first coat, I come back in for a second coat. You can already see what a difference the second coat is making. It's much brighter than the first one. So I continue with that. It's just a matter of time when the whole thing is complete, but persistence is definitely the key to painting. I go through all over the cabinets and make sure I don't miss any area. That was it for my second coat. Once that had dried, I even went in for a third coat, which I think I didn't record. I did a couple of experiments for my mirror. I started painting it black, but then I realized that I wanted to give it some texture. So I ditched my effort and tried to come up with a few different techniques. This is what I ended up with. I used some white gesso to give texture to my mirror. This texture will be really helpful in the end result, as you'll be able to see. So that was my technique. I just used a palette knife and gesso and I just dabbed it on and created texture on my mirror. As you can see here, that I'm just pressing the knife on and off and it's creating all of these ridges that will be helpful for my final step. Once I had completed the white gesso and it had dried, I went ahead with my black paint. And as you can see now, the black paint is creating more texture while it comes on. Once the black had dried, I went in with my final step, which was using Rub and Buff in the shade Antique Gold. I just used my finger to work it through the ridges that we had created with gesso. Rub and Buff dries pretty quickly, so you have to work really quick and you can't stop. And as you can see here, I'm just using my fingers to go over the ridges and create that antique mirror looking texture. I gave ridges to the edges and kept the sides simple, but I still covered them with the gold rub and buff. The little bit of black showing gave it a good color. And that's how I went through the whole mirror. It was kind of tiring, but the end result was really rewarding. I would do it again in a heartbeat because of how it turned out in the end. The antique gold gave it such a good finish. Once I was done with my mirror, I started on with my walls. I used these stick-on tiles that I got from Tic Tac Tiles. It was about cutting, measuring, and aligning them. And I stuck on my sheets, did quite a few measurements, and as you can say, measure twice, cut once, and align quite a few times. You just peel the sheet and you stick it on your existing tiles or on your walls, and that is exactly what I did. I used a cutter to get into the edges to make sure that they were sharp and clean. I used the cut-offs to fill in the blank spaces. That's where I fixed the whole sheet. I just measured it and I would remove the backing and stick it on. The larger areas were pretty easy to put on. It was the smaller areas that needed a bit of maneuvering. Align and realign and stick. That's how it works, I guess. And there you have it. And this was the last wall that I worked on. I'm loving the look the tiles gave to this space. And you can see here how many times I am realigning this. And especially when you don't have any help, you use your own head. And that was it. That is the final look of my bathroom. I loved how it turned out. The mirror and everything else. It looked beautiful to me. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, do subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.